And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Eternal Palace. This seems like a theme that's done a lot, we're doing the palaces, but it's not. It's not about building the palace for once. Well, actually, it's kind of about building the palace. But it's also about painting a picture of it. And so in this game, you are artists trying to be commissioned. You're painting a landscape, and the game actually lets you put a picture together. I know people like that because there's a very popular game called Canvas, that's the entire point of this game. So making these pictures is the theme of the game, but the actual mechanisms is dice as dice placement. You're going to roll dice and then put these dice in different spots on the board to take actions. Here's how it plays. Here's the board for the game, and I'm going to take a look at the board a little bit, but I want to take a look at this little easel that each person has. And as the game goes by, you're going to be collecting different backgrounds for this, forming a painting. And so as you collect them, you just put them in order. They each have a number, so the higher numbers go in front. So 6 goes in front of 5, but let's say later on I get number 3. That would go behind that. So you can see it's building a painting, and you have the even possibility of getting scenery pieces, which you could put like this, maybe another scenery there. So you're building a little painting. Now, this is aesthetics only. At the end of the game, you just get a point for basically every cardboard piece that's on your painting, but you can also get some bonus points for having the longest run. So if I have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'll get an extra point for that. And also finishing first can get you some points. Now the way the game works is each round everyone's going to roll their dice that they have, and whoever rolls the lowest is going to get to go first in turn order, and you'll set turn order. After that, you're going to put your dice behind your screen like this, and you're going to split it into 3 groups, 2 groups, or 1 group. Or I guess when you have more dice, you'll be able to split into more groups because you have a chance to get more dice as the game goes by. As you make a group, that's the number location you want to go to on the board, although you are able to increase or decrease that number with wisdom tokens. Wisdom tokens are going to let you add or subtract 1, or you can spend 2 even to switch a 6 to a 1 to swing around like that. Everyone then will reveal their dice, and taking turns one at a time, you're going to take your dice and place them at a location. So a 3 I could place here, although I could also place the 3 here, for example, by spending a wisdom. If there's already dice there, you can't go there unless you spend 1 fish for each person that's already there. And there is a location on the board you can go to even if you don't have the numbers that you wanted it to go to. Real quickly, we'll go through the different numbers, but I do want to mention when you go to a number, you also will get the scenery that matches that number. So going there automatically gets you the scenery, and will move you up 1 on the track there. And if you're the first person to get to the top of the track, then you'll get that extra thing. You just pick one of these extra pieces of scenery to put in the background of your painting. So you can get at most 2 from each location. Everybody will get the number if they go there. Each of these gives you different things. This one allows you to draw cards from the deck, and then you can buy those cards. There's going to be different advisors and things. They have a cost on them, and when you buy them, they then give you a special ability. So this one lets me once per turn essentially turn a wisdom into a resource. This one says when I go to locations 4, 6, 9, or 11, I'm going to get an extra resource when I go to those spots. And there's a lot of them. So 1 will let you draw from the deck. 2 is very similar, but you're going to pick one of these face-up ones that is next to the board. Then we have different spots on the board. At locations 4, 6, 9, and 11, you're simply going to get resources. And that's based on the number of dice that you put there. So if I put a 4 here with a single 4, I'm going to get a wood. But if I put a 4 here with 2 dice, like a 2 and a 2, I'm going to get 3 wood. And each of these has some similarities to that. Then we have locations 3, 5, 8, and 10. When you go to these spots, you pay resources equal to the number of tokens there. So this shows 1 wood, so I need to pay 1 wood. You then take one of those resources you paid and put it there, so it makes it cost more for the next person. You also will take this marker here, you're helping build the spring pavilion, for example, here, and you keep that. If you're the one who has it at the end of the game, you're going to get an extra point. You can go here to the middle of the table where you will get wisdom, and you will get this wisdom by putting different pairs, and if you're the first person to fill in different spots here, then you get the extra piece of terrain. And then as we climb to the top of the board, there's places to go, and 11 is where you get extra dice. This spot over here, you go here if you don't want to use your number, you're just going to move up the number of the dice that you place there. So moving up on that track will get you various resources. Up here you get combos of resources, and also whenever you help build these things here that you're stealing from each other, you will be moving on this track here, which is points at the end of the game. And then you can always go up here and just get a resource or some fish and wisdom, which is kind of a desperation move, but sometimes you need to do that. That's what you're going to do. You're just going to keep going round and round until someone builds 8 different spots on their easel, on their picture. When that happens, you're going to hand out these tokens based on who's the farthest on this track up here. And also whoever has the longest streak will get a token. Whoever is the person who ends the game gets a token. You'll take those tokens, add them to all the different pieces in your picture. You also get a point if you're controlling these locations. And whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Now this game here is a mixed bag when it comes to components, but unfortunately it's mostly negative. Now I love the concept. The concept here of having this easel and then putting these different things on it sounds great in theory. The problem is, first of all, these easels are badly designed. You have to kind of They come apart pretty easy, but you have to kind of put them in here, and they get all beat up by putting them together. They also barely hold the stuff. They fall off all the time. Nobody else can see your easel, which isn't a huge deal, I suppose. These pictures, these are beautiful, and they even come with this tray, which then when the game is over, you can take them out, and it has kind of a way to put them all in, which takes more than a small amount of time. It's a decent amount of work to pack this game up. I'm also not thrilled with these shields. The only way you can't see over someone's shield is if you're wearing a blindfold. The shortest person in the world is going to see over these. I don't know what they were thinking. I had to shield my eyes the whole time I'm playing so I don't accidentally see over my opponent's shield. I just thought that was a weird choice here. The board is smaller than it needs to be. This board should be much bigger. Why is it so small and skinny? You're not even sure where to put the dice. The resources are fine. They're not amazing. And it's funny because I'm showing you the basic version. The Kickstarter version isn't much better because all it does is it changes these tokens to little three-dimensional figures, and it adds like a labyrinth thing. That's it. And I don't know. The art is fine, but it just feels like a very generic production. It feels like they could have put more effort into this game, a bigger board. But the biggest thing, again, is that easel, the fact you have to take them apart and put them together to put in a box, is really just not cool at all. And I don't know. That's a big drawing point to the game. I think some folk are going to have a problem with that. Now, I want to start out by saying that I like this game. I'm giving this game a positive review, but I feel like I would have given it an excellent review, but the components were an issue. I've already mentioned the components being an issue. Another issue I have with the game is I feel like there's very few points involved, which it almost feels like you're doing a lot of work for a few points, and that ratio feels just a bit off for me. Also, as the game progresses and you get close to the end, sometimes there's not a lot you can do with extra stuff, and I almost feel like there should be some throwaway action, converting stuff into points somewhere, and there really isn't. But taking those issues out, I like the game. It is very similar to a very popular game called Kingsburg. This one's not as in your face as it sounds though, because while someone can go to a spot, you take turns going around a table, placing your dice out. So if I look at the dice that I've rolled and I rolled a 1 and I see 2 other people are also putting out 1s and I go before them, I'm putting that 1 out first, just so they have to at least pay a fish when they go there. But the fact that you can pay these fish to go to the same spot as somebody else does make it less harsh in that regard. And in fact, in the games I've played, I very rarely have seen anybody be completely blocked out. Sometimes it happens, but also you get some fish for that eventuality. Not fish, wisdom. I'm sorry, wisdom's the one that lets you change your number, and then fish lets you go to where someone else is. And between those two, you should have some of both. You're okay. The advisors are very minor, small things that you can get. They all give you special abilities, but they don't knock the doors down. I was really excited about advisors because I always get that sort of thing. And I have several of them when I play these games, but as the game goes by, the advisors become less interesting, especially since the majority of advisors don't provide victory points. I like the idea of building, helping build the bridge, and then you take that bridge token from somebody else. That back and forth, it has a little bit of a longest road feeling because eventually it gets so expensive. I need to pay 5 wood to build this thing. That's a lot of wood you have to get, so you need to place dice in various things. But you're also going to different places to get the backgrounds for the picture. So what saves this game and makes it on the good side of the column? And I'll tell you, this is one of the closer ones for me. Like, this is just, I don't normally talk about my number ratings in the games, but this is just at like a 7.0001 because in this game, I like the theme. I like building the painting. That's fun. And I really like the dice placement part of it. That's interesting. I just feel like it could have been amazing. This could have been so much better. A better production, maybe a few more things to do, a few more points to get would have brought it higher. But that being said, perhaps you might say I'm being a little bit nitpicky in that regard. And if you like dice placement games, this is another one. And there's not many that do this. That when you roll the dice, you separate them into number groups and put them out. You know, the only one that really popped in my mind immediately was Kingsburg. There's not many, and it's a fun mechanism. People enjoy that. And the idea of making that picture, it's very satisfying. You just sit there and go, yeah, look at this cool landscape that I just built, and I put this little castle piece on it and this tree here. That's fun and enjoyable. It doesn't take a long time to play. We're talking, the rule says 60 to 90 minutes, but it definitely tilts closer to 60 minutes. So that's also a positive point in this game's favor. Anyway, that's what I think about Eternal Palace. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment approved!